Good afternoon, everybody, girls, some men. First of all, I want to thank to Ajuntament de Barcelona, to Barcelona Expat Week organization, and of course to Casa Seat for this amazing place to host us in this special building. And I want to thank in special to both agency People and Comms for this opportunity and for the trust. My name is Nuria Soler, and I am co-founder with my 29 years old daughter of a sorority movement. It's named Womanthon. Our claim is lead with no permission. You like it? And needed in this moment, it's very needed. Our objective, or our main goal, it is to accelerate wait a moment, how can I explain it? It is to accelerate the arrival to the goal of equity as soon as possible, boosting and empowering women in professional environments. First of all, I have to tell you that my English is not the best, as you can see, but it's the most passionate. And you can ask, why did you decide to do this even in English? First of all, for the frame of Barcelona Expat Week. They deserve. And the second one is that it's because once I learned that in life, it's not important to be perfect. The most important thing is to be brave. And I think today, I'm not the only one. So I'm not going to apologize for my English. Okay?
Well done.
Thank you. This event is divided in two parts. Now we'll make a round table with these amazing women. And then we'll make a short networking because it's important networking, no? We are talking today about entrepreneurship and networking. Later, we will talk about this. And I hope you will be fun. We try to be with a lot of energy, passion, and sexy and fun. Okay? So now, for me, it's a pleasure and a privilege to be in a face-to-face event in this moment. All of them have been canceled except Womanthon. We are lucky women. Or not, girls?
Absolutely.
Yes. And we are going to talk about entrepreneurship, the myths and legends of entrepreneur, to be an entrepreneur. That's why, well, from a female perspective, of course, that's why we have invited these four amazing leading women in entrepreneurship. They are going to introduce themselves one-to-one. They have 2 minutes each one, okay? And they will explain who they are and what they do. Please, a big applause for them. They are Mara Larcón, Carlota Planas, Lynn Wong, and Viviana Cunningham, for the friends, Bibi. Yes. So please, Mar, do you mind to start the first one? Because you are the younger one.
I don't think so. Thank you, Nuria. I'm the younger.
Yeah.
The youngest, no?
The youngest one.
Okay. Well, my name is Mar Alarcón, as you can see. I'm the founder and CEO of Social Car. That it's the first peer-to-peer car sharing in Spain. I launched it in 2011 when there were no shared mobility solutions yet in Spain, only Vising and another car sharing brand that is not operating now. And well, I decided to buster this new mobility 9 years ago. And it was not my first project. I founded another company on renewable energies before when I was living in China. But now I'm focused on that, and I'm also supporting other entrepreneurs in the city because I'm as a member of the board of Barcelona Tech City. I don't know if you are aware about this association that is is creating an ecosystem of entrepreneurs, investors, corporates, and incubators, accelerators, etc. in Barcelona. And after 4 years in this doing this job in Barcelona Tech City, Barcelona is now one of the is on the top 5 tech hubs in Europe, and also is the third city to come to start a business. And what else? I'm also vice president of Foment de Treball, that is a business association, and I'm the main business association in Catalonia, and I'm there just to attract all digital business and to represent their interest in front of administrations, that we also need a lot of that work. And more or less, it's what I do actually.
Thank you, Mar. Thank you, Mar. Carlota, come on.
Hi, I'm Carlota Planas. I'm co-founder of Unique Sports Management. It's a sports management and marketing agency dedicated exclusively to women's football. So
only one in Spain.
Yeah. We're, apart from being one of the first agencies in Spain that offer a 360 service, so we don't offer only sports management and marketing, but we also give tax, financial, or other advice. So apart from that, it's the first one that's directed by a woman, who is me. A bit shocking, right? Because it's woman playing football and there's no woman on the management side. So I don't really know why that's happening, but that's how it is. 5 months ago, we founded it, and it's the first one. So we have 40 athletes now. We started from scratch with my partner, which I will explain the story of how we met and how we decided to create this agency. But we have 40 athletes. 6 of them now are in the Spanish national team this weekend. We have 80% representing their national teams in the 5 main leagues, both in Portugal, France, Italy, Spain, and Germany. And well, it started because I had an agency only for women in the marketing side. We created opportunities for them because they had a struggle with their salary. As you may know, what they earn is not a lot. So what we did was create opportunities in the marketing side to just balance a bit the total revenue. So that's where I started to work with footballers. I'm an ex-futsal player as well. So everything went from there. And well, I had some clients which were footballers. I heard them, I had lots of conversations, and they told me, why are you our agent? Why can't we talk with you as well for our contracts, for our clubs? Why can't you do everything? So talking with one of these agents, which was my client, I told him about the idea, and he said, well, I love it. So by the end of the week, I'll send you an offer to your email. And I said, well, it's not going to work like that. If you want to do this, we'll do it as partners, because I'm not here to be someone else. That's something I want to do, so we'll do it together. And that's how it was born. More or less like that.
Thank you, Carlota.
Hi, my name is Lin Wong. I am from Singapore. I've been in Barcelona for the last 21 years. And my first year I spent in Barcelona working in a management consulting company, through which I was working in the marketing department, which is one of my passions of marketing communications and live communications, which is translated to organizing events. I think in today's context, my story is a bit where when you find a problem, you find a solution. So after spending 1 year in the marketing consulting, in the management consulting company, while doing all these organizing events, I found that there was a difficulty of finding providers to organize events. So 20 years ago, this idea of forming my current company, which is called Evento Plus, is born. So we had the idea of having a platform where we connect meetings organizers with meeting suppliers. So we started very simply with a website, with a directory that connects these two entities. And slowly as we grow, we started doing education program, we started publishing a magazine, then we started doing a trade show, then we started also putting awards into this meeting sectors in Spain to share best practices. So it's been 20 years. I've been lucky to also have co-founded this company with 2 partners, which are both male. So I choose to think that my involvement within this idea that that which was conceived, I am able to give a woman perspective into the foundation of this company, which I'm sure later we would go into different aspects on how women as entrepreneurs can help and be involved in forming of different companies.
Thank you. Thank you, Lynn.
First of all, thank you for having me here. I am honored to be here today with everybody. My name is Bibi Cunningham. I am originally from Slovakia. Most of my professional career developed in Prague, in the heart of Europe. I love Prague. I will always, and I hope my friends in Prague can see me now. I am the owner of Business for Breakfast Spain. In Business for Breakfast, it has been 2 decades that we have been supporting small to medium-sized businesses, entrepreneurs, ambitious business owners, creating an environment where they can grow and thrive and support each other. I am conscious of the fact that collaboration is the way forward. I believe that we need to change I for we. That is why I'm here today, so that I can connect with everyone and listen to other stories and show you how I view what collaborative economy is about. Thank you.
Thank you, Vivi. First of all, a question for all the audience. Is someone here is thinking about becoming an entrepreneur? Please. 1, 2, 3. How many? 4. Very good. Lourdes, thank you. And one of you, how many are already entrepreneur? Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Very good. Good. Girls, you have a hard job today.
Yep.
Not just for inspiration, to share, to learn from each other, because the important things we cannot do alone. About collaboration, you said, no? So the first question I'm going to ask you girls, it's maybe a moment that it's a boom, this of about entrepreneurship. Is it trendy? Do you think we are in this moment now?
It's modern. Yes.
Who wants to start?
I mean,
come on.
Okay. It's definitely a modern way to approach professional life for many women. But I also feel that it is something that it's not just an opportunity, but it is something that we can do, right? And that we should be involved in, and that we have this responsibility to be involved in it. That's how I see it.
Thank you. One day we were talking with Mar about, do you remember? We were talking about the 3 whys, you can be, or why you can be an entrepreneur. One was because it was vocational. Another one for obligation, because nowadays, you see, you lose your job and you have to reinvent. And the third one, like an option. I am in a good company, it's okay, I'm fine, but I can do it. So, Mar, it's easy to be an entrepreneur?
No. Well, I would say that it's not difficult being an entrepreneur, it's hard. Because it's important to have support on your surroundings, and because when you decide to be an entrepreneur, you will find plenty of people that is going to question that, and I like to call them boycotting mushrooms. I call them mushrooms because they are everywhere. So it's what is hard. It's to not to give up. And starting a business, yeah, it's not rocket science, but the difficulty is on not giving up, and believe on yourself. Usually entrepreneurs, they start because they see an opportunity You were asking, Nuria, if now is what is happening, that everybody is thinking on starting new businesses. Yeah, it's because of the situation, but also because we are surrounded of opportunities around. The market is changing with with COVID and everything. There's opportunities everywhere on new. I'm talking about market opportunities, okay? And yeah, being an entrepreneur is a way of life. So if you appreciate your freedom, it's an option. It's a very good option. Then yeah, it's difficult. No, I think maybe it's hard, and you need a good support in your surroundings, family or whoever.
In our industry, for example, in women's sport, I think it's in other sectors we might see there's this creation of opportunities, but in our sector we have to create them. So entrepreneurship is like mandatory, because if we wait for someone to create it first, it won't happen. So we have to make it happen. So now sportswoman is starting to be recognized, especially football. Now we're going to see it in TV, we see it in the media. But for that to happen, we have to create the opportunity. That's why it's so important to be an entrepreneur, because without that, it's impossible. It's not going to happen.
Your reflection,
I love it.
It's like the key, because education teaches us to find a job, but not to create the job.
Yeah.
So now maybe it's the moment, the example that we can create the jobs.
But it's coming with power over there.
Yeah.
I think for me, I think apart from as a mode of work, I think entrepreneurship is an endless journey. It's a journey where there is personal and professional fulfillment, but it is also a journey of blood, sweat, and tears. I think there is no perfect time to start being an entrepreneur. I could see that in the audience, there's also a lady which is expecting.
Yes.
And she has lifted up a hand that she was planning to be an entrepreneur. And I say, well done, because there's never a good time to be an entrepreneur, because there's always something. If it's not your job at that time, that you can give up, or there's family. But I think this personal journey, you have to decide for yourself when you're ready. Do you have the perseverance to go through it? Do you have the energy to go through it? But you have to take that first leap. And to take that first leap doesn't mean you have to be haste and let's just go for it. And behind that, there's the planning. You have to take your calculated risk. You have to plan what kind of resources you have.
I don't think you know that when you start. You don't know that.
I don't think
you grow into with every struggle, no?
Oh, it's a journey that has got steps.
You don't know.
You see from the beginning to the end, but I think you have to see something to take that first step.
True.
And along the way, like I said, it's an endless journey. You'll be seeing moments where you get personal satisfaction because there's this sweet nectar of getting a result. And then you could just smash your head against the wall because you say, how can I do this? It's an absolute disaster. But this is all part of the journey that I see entrepreneurship as, not just a mode of work, not just a mode of filling up your time, but it is a journey on the professional level and also on the personal level.
So do you think that the self-knowledge and authenticity are, to become an entrepreneur, are important?
I think any entrepreneur to lead a business, to lead people, human skills are definitely very important. You need empathy. You need to work with people. You need to connect with people so that people could connect with you. Because like I said, I think we all need to go out and get to know people, get connections, because especially in Barcelona, where it is a small city where there's always somebody who knows somebody. And so when you meet somebody could refer you to somebody else, which should just be the one that give you that little extra push.
I like you said
that you like that.
Refer. I like that.
I think that what's important more than self-knowledge or this empathy is having a purpose. When is the moment when you have your purpose in life is clear, is when you decide to set up something. And the purpose could be saving the world or being a millionaire. So it's not, it doesn't to be
Which
something
was
good
your purpose?
Or bad.
Which was yours?
Well, I wanted to create something that to have an impact on the city I live. So I would like to die and to be remembered for doing something good. And then for this reason, I'm always in business related with sustainability or social impact, because I don't want to pass only in this life. I want to do something. Then and I'm not sure I'm going to achieve it, but at least I try. But it's when you have a purpose is when you have this thing burning inside you, and then when you start is when maybe you start knowing about yourself and developing this empathy. And when you are in your path of being an entrepreneur, you get angry many times with yourself or with the others, and you find lots of stones on the way, and then you learn. It's a path for learning and
Learning
acquiring
about yourself too,
and about the others as well. but for me, that the boasting is the purpose. It's having a
And which was your purpose?
Well, in my case, I think, first of all, I think passion has led me through the way. As they said, there's lots of things we think we know until we are there. So when we are there, we see 1,000 of things you didn't control, you didn't know, and what you know then changes. And then I think what really makes you go every day is the passion you have with the purpose as well, but also the passion of what you're doing. For example, football for me has also been very important. I was a futsal player for 15 years professionally. And I always thought, how can I change this? Why my friend, who's a boy, is playing in the first team of Barca, he's winning tons of money, and me in the same team for women, I have to pay to play. Why is that? No, why is this happening? And what can I do to change that? So that's what really moved me to do this. And my purpose is to really change the way people are managing the world of women's sports, especially women's football, starting in Spain, and then we're going to try to carry it in Europe. Now, in 5 months, we have players from more than 8 countries. So we're trying to be there.
If someone is thinking about becoming a footballer, you know, never late. Never too late.
Yeah, I think for my case, would more be proposing solutions. No, I guess, especially in times today, it could probably be a good time to think about being entrepreneurship, because with crises and problems, there's when there's needs and solutions. There's where people are looking for different ways to get out of what they're stuck in. And for me, in a way, like I said earlier on, is that basically I've encountered myself in a situation and a problem that nobody can help me. So, and I think, well, there must, I cannot be the only one alone in this case. There must be a lot of people out there. And so we started having the idea, we conceived the idea of how to connect, and then we start building the business model from there. And the fact of having problems gives opportunities. The fact of having problems is a way that people need solutions, and that's where you have to probably gauge your proposal, your purpose, what does it serve, and how is it going to change life. And I think for us, we're going to change. For us, it's the purpose to connect people to do business together, to make events better, and that people could have a platform, a common platform to learn, to grow professionally, and to have access to whatever services they need to do their job better.
So purpose is the why. Why am I in it? Mostly because I wanted to be me. I just wanted to live my life according to my rules. I wanted to surround myself with people that I like. Yeah, I think that the purpose was to be able to be who I am, I guess, was, yeah.
Okay.
Live yourself.
Live yourself. But some of you are think that's the same to be entrepreneur than to be a manager or empresaria. It's the same?
Yeah.
Why not?
Well, I think being an entrepreneur doesn't mean that you have to be all out there on your own. And especially entrepreneurship is not a journey that you have to take alone. For you probably have to take the first step. But along the way, you probably get partners, you probably get business partners that come into the business model with you. And being an entrepreneur doesn't mean that you have to set up, for me, from my own perspective, is that being an entrepreneur, it doesn't mean that you have to set up shop yourself. And being even in a company, in a big company, in a small company, you can be an entrepreneur, because I think entrepreneurship is the kind of spirit of how to cultivate and make things grow. And so even if you're working in a company and you really think that you're not going to leave the company and never be an entrepreneur because this company is too good, you can even be an entrepreneur. The spirit of entrepreneurship can still live within a big organization. You can lead a project, you can be innovative, you can help bring the company to a different level. I think that's where growth is, and that's where your entrepreneurship skill can also be part of the growth of the company that you are working in.
Yeah, in fact, for me, entrepreneur is someone who is able to set up something, whatever it is, for himself or for a company. Someone who is able to start something from 0 to 10, and then from 10 to onwards is a business man or business woman.
Business owner, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if I would say that you can be an entrepreneur inside a company.
Yeah.
I feel that if you are inside a company, the entrepreneurial spirit, it just doesn't work together, because I understand the form of entrepreneurship, but the entrepreneur is the person that wants to take a responsibility for themselves, I feel. And that way the company starts to be tight, right? You want to make a decision and the boss is there and you can't do it. You are not, if you are an entrepreneur, you leave, I feel.
Yeah. In fact, in a company, you have a safe net.
Total. And this is not possible with when you start your business. I mean, you can if you have a network, right?
Yeah. I mean, look, the one question for that. I have what's the power your network plays when becoming entrepreneur, Bibi?
It's everything for me. It's a safety net when I need it. There are people that are standing there and they're watching my space. And then when I need to go forward, they push me forward. My life is based on network. I understand that the economy works that way. I understand the internet works that way. And I also understand we work that way as humans. We just have I don't know, somewhere on the way we forgot that this is how we operate, that we need to be together and feed off each other and share from each other and learn from each other. So network is everything for me in my business.
I think in any business, even in ours, because the network are the players. So if you have one player and she's happy with you, they see the results, she starts signing good contracts, she will tell her friend or her national team player. So then that's our network, right? So I think every company has a different network, and we could just place it depending on the industry you are. But I think everyone has it. And in our case, it was like that. So one player was happy, she talked to another one, and that's how we began to grow.
I think I want to be part of your network now.
That was great.
I'm kind of like, okay.
You want to become a footballer?
That's a good network there.
Yeah? You want to become a footballer?
I have an 8-year-old at home.
Okay.
And she's ready. So
Very
great.
good. Look,
We're
the
good to see
future.
her. Yeah.
correct. This is super.
Then keep in touch and phones.
Yeah.
So, all of you, did you need money to start your company?
I guess it's an obvious
Because
question.
Well,
and the question is the access to the capital a challenge for a woman that wants to become entrepreneur than if you are a man?
Wow.
Wow.
Well, I
I'm
think,
so sorry. This is a woman's on.
This is how
I think that you don't need money to set up a business. Okay, you need money to set up a business, but it doesn't to be yours. And in my case, I started with my savings, no. But actually, in Barcelona, no, that now you are interested in this city, no, is there is a huge ecosystem of investors, accelerators, and incubators, venture builders, whatever, that can help you to set up a business, can help you to find partners, co-founders, or whatever you need. So 10 years ago, when I did it, there were not this huge net and ecosystem. Now you have it. So yeah, you need money, but money doesn't need to be an excuse not to do it.
Correct.
And according to your question was if being a woman is more difficult, right?
About the banks for the credits,
Well,
the access to the capital.
I think banks is the last place where I'm going when I'm setting up a business, but I'm
but
going to look
sometimes
for investors,
There's
not for
people
banks.
that they need to go to a bank
Yeah,
No,
sure.
totally.
because
Sure.
you
And
were
of
talking
course.
about maybe from technology.
Yeah,
no?
well, but
It's
digital
different. They are very investors,
Mm.
no?
Yeah.
Business angels, venture capitals, and
I think with regard to bank, I guess everybody have to access the risk, whether you want to go ahead and take credit or you count on your own savings. And there's always this, during the internet boom, there is also with your angel investors or you start taking money from your friends and family to start the basis. So I think that's also part of the risk that an entrepreneur has to think about, and until how far do you want to take that step of your business proposal, and what level of risk do you want yourself to be exposed to in terms of economic ends.
There is some information, however, that in the franchising world, Business for Breakfast is a franchise, so I'm in a franchising world, that in the United States, it is easier for women to access loans for franchises because they have better records of money management. That's all I know. I mean, but then again, at the same time, women get worse insurance because they live longer, stuff like that. So not often do we get a fair treatment with money.
And apart from money, what do you think about hours? Like, you have the money side, but you have to make sure you have lots of hours.
It's enemy.
I have
Time
like
is
24
enemy.
hours and I'm 20 hours working on the company. So that's, I think, is another thing that people have to take in mind, because how many hours do you want to put in a business?
And how long is it going to take?
Exactly.
Until you make money.
Yeah. So sometimes money is important, but also what are you willing to take away, or not to do, to give,
the sacrifices that you're willing to make,
to make that happen.
Mhm,
Because
mhm.
sometimes, as you said, you can do it with your earnings, you can go to a bank, but once you have the money, what then? What are you going to do with the money?
Well, set up a team.
So
Well, I think the being entrepreneur also, it's hard to get money to start, but I guess it's the hardest part is to maintain and keep it going, and then to keep the money to roll back in. No, I think maybe we could go to a bank and get a credit, but then we have to start thinking of how we can roll this credit to get it into profits. Also, I guess that's probably the tougher part than just getting the base to kickstart. Yeah.
Is it true? It happens to our entrepreneurs in the audience? Somebody happens the same with the money? Or everybody's rich? Amazing.
Yeah, I know. I'm just thinking that.
You?
Wow.
Well, me too. I am too an entrepreneur. Yeah, that's true.
I think that it's like a taboo. You're always looking for the best professionals, but when it comes to the time of the money, it's like, oh, well, you can always adjust our fees, and we'll talk you later. Don't worry about the money. And it's not. It shouldn't be that way. I mean, if I'm taking my time to see you and talk to you and know who you are, know what you do, what are your needs. I love the word needs, and I love the word problems to becoming solutions. All that time, mine and yours, are valuable. They are worth money, fees and expectations, and all the things that I'm not doing because I'm here, and the same for you. So we should be, I think, that much more clear with money and with what both parties are expecting to get from whatever it is. If it is a client-purveyor relationship, or maybe I'm looking for a partner, or a venture capital, whatever it is, I think that we should, have no worry, no shame on talking about the money, because in the end, we all need to pay our partners, or it's like the collaborative and circulation of the economics is what it's about. So I think that in Spain it's quite a problem. I don't find it in the US or in the UK. I think that sometimes I find it a little bit of shame there.
Thank you. And girls, she was talking about partners. Partners, yes, or partners, no?
Absolutely. For me, I think it's a hard journey.
Absolutely.
And it's even going to be harder if you have to take it on your own. And I think it's important to have partners, but it's important to have partners that complement you. It's like, your strength, your weaknesses. You have to find somebody that can complement you, and not at the end of the day having two people who specializes in marketing and nobody knows what operations is about, it's not going to work. So I think you need to find partners, you need to find complementing partners, and it's going to go a long way. And I think it is very important as the basis, because partners helps you bounce off ideas. Partners helps you widen your network, and it's also be a testing board for many of the brilliant ideas that you have while you're in the shower, for example.
Yeah, I think that partners are important, as Lynn said, because you are not able to do everything and you don't know about everything. But one advice is that you have to do the homework first. I mean, when having partners is crucial to have it everything right, an agreement. Start having an agreement, because sometimes your partners are used to be people that know you very well, maybe a friend, maybe a family member or whatever, and then everything is in pink, no? And then when problems come later, and then could you with this relationship you could finish this relationship in bad terms. So it's crucial to have an agreement from the day one, and have everything written and sign and agree on the terms of
I
your
think
relationship.
it's important also to define responsibility.
Sure.
When you have a partner, this is your responsibility, this is your camp. So you don't seem like you're fighting over the same thing, and you have responsibility, accountability for part of the project. And I think that also avoid conflicts, because if this is your field, you have to make it work. And if this is mine, I have to make it work. And in that way, it's also complementary. And then you kind of leave no fields uncovered, that everybody, you know that your operations is handled by somebody, you know that your communications is handled by somebody, your admin, your money is also handled by somebody. So everybody is accountable in that area. I think it's also good, then everybody can double check on each other, but there is one who is accountable, and not just both are accountable for everything. So in the end, when there's something goes wrong, who's to blame in a way? Yeah.
So all of you had good experiences with partners.
Well, my partner is my husband.
We have experience.
Your partner is your
My
husband.
husband.
That's fine. That's good. That's good.
I have a partner's agreement under my bed.
You have an agreement. Everybody had good experience with partners? Who had not good
Nobody
experience
experienced it.
with partners?
We're also
No,
lucky.
I had a bad one for sure.
Had to.
Only yes.
Only yes.
We don't choose very well our partners.
No. We are the only one here. We are so bad choosing partners. Okay, there is some question for this amazing woman. Come on, don't be shy. Oh, very good. A brave woman there.
I have to hold it. Oh, okay. Hi, my name is Eleanor Samuelsson, and I come from Sweden. And I run a company that builds technology to streamline help to victims of domestic violence. And I'm very curious about, what was your biggest mistake or your biggest fuck up, and what did you learn from that?
Wow.
This question was the last one. Thank you very much. Come on, girls.
We fuck up every day.
Are you perfect?
No.
I think one thing is you have a plan, and then you're afraid of changing that plan, even when you think that's the best thing to do. You know it, but you're so afraid of doing it. We set up the company with the COVID situation. We launched it in July. So we were like, wow, what's going to happen? Well, so do we do it? We don't. And we were sure that we had to do it. But there was this thing of, we had a plan. We had this had happened. Did it happen? These contracts we signed, they weren't signed. All Nike, Adidas, Puma was saying no sponsorship is going to happen this year. 30% cut in everything. And we were like, wow. So what do we do? And we said, no, let's change the plan then. Yeah. Let's see how to go over the situation. And now for now it's been a success. We're billing double what we expected. So sometimes I think it's that, not having this is afraid of being afraid of changing what
Yeah.
you plan.
I completely agree. I was
Yeah.
thinking on some example, but sometimes when you get wrong is because you are not you have a lack of flexibility. You are tackled to some idea or some relationship or some expectative, and when you are not able to give it up is when you usually get wrong. But yeah, being flexible make things easier.
Mistakes here?
I think going on the point where you talk about being flexible and being agile, I think starting a company is absolutely what you need. You need to be able to be like water, no? To mold into the environment, to mold into the kind of resources that you have. And I think for me, when we first started, obviously money was one of the factors to get the company going. And we were starting it all in the internet bubble. We had a website. We think that, and we were doing all these plans. We were making appointment with angel investors and projecting Excel sheets of business plan going to 20 in 10 years. Offices will be expanded to, I don't know, 20, 30 countries with 5,000 employees and all this. And we were just in our dream, and we've been spending time just strategically thinking how we can get this money rather than thinking of how we can make the business work. So I guess in one of the fucked up that happened in this whole process is that we have wasted so much time and probably wasted so much of our savings too, just trying to get it right on paper and talking to people which might or might not give us money. And then we realized one day we said that we have to stop on this drawing board and talking about shooting PowerPoints and arrows here and there. And we stopped a strategic process and we went into operational mode. Basically, we went out of the office that we were in, or out of the house of the partner that we were working all these wonderful plans with his house full of Post-its and papers. And we went on the streets and we started talking to our potential clients, what they need, how can we make them money, what do we need to sell them? And I guess instead of my point was that the failure of not knowing that at the point of time, after spending X number of time there, it's time to change tactics, it's time to think differently. And rather than to just keep going and pursuing that thing that you just see that this is the way to go, there's so many other ways that we can work things out.
So there is a thin balance between being persistent and not giving up, right? And having a vision, and you are like doing this all the time. It's a with all respect, it is such an obvious question, right? We think like, where is it that we, like, what was the fuck up really? Like, what did we do? But if you take a business as a process of growth, there is no fuck ups, right? So my only one would be that sometimes I don't listen. People tell me things and I don't listen, and I'll be like, you keep saying this, but I know what I'm doing here, and then I come there and I'm like, okay, you were right. That would be mine.
I want to share
I told
one.
you.
I told
Yeah,
you.
This sentence, I told you.
I want to share to my mistake. My biggest mistake was, yes, because it's better to share the mistakes than the strengths, no?
Right.
Yeah.
It helps to others.
Correct.
And my biggest mistake was to just want to help everybody and don't let help me.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
yes.
explain,
Absolutely.
yeah. So it was like not listening. It's a bad mistake. And this one is too. You want to be always to do alone, and you are not a hero.
Not able to receive anything, right? Just going like,
Yeah.
This is
it's
related
too much.
with
It's too much.
saying no, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes we don't know
To say no.
To say no, yeah.
And women are specialists in that. We don't know to say no, girls.
something that you learn.
We need to learn to say no. It's just 2 letters.
And
N-O.
and talk about money.
And yes, it's 3
And
letters.
talk about money.
And talk about money. We don't like talking about money. That's true. Mara always say that. Any question more? Just a moment. I want to say that, please, all the people is connected around the world can ask, because Christina is going to ask your questions. So
Wow.
please don't hesitate to do it.
We have some
Sorry.
questions, so we thought that we may just do one, physical and one digital. So I'm going to be the voice of the attendants, the online attendants. They already asked some questions, so congratulations for all your thoughts and the experiences. And Nuri, you have an awesome English, so super good English, and great moderation, so no apologies and no
We'll be
needed.
friends to you.
Very good. So the first question was came from Helga, and she was asking, what skills in your personality were the most valuable for your businesses? And what did you have to learn in terms of skills, soft skills, to make your businesses grow and thrive? First question.
Wow.
The youngest one starts.
Well, it's quite a topic, but something at least I had to learn is to be empathic with the other when you're negotiating overall, and because we all think that we are, but and sometimes we are not, and trying to understand why they are acting on that way or why they are asking for this, and this makes you shorten the process sometimes, and yeah, there's more other entrepreneurs here to ask this question because it's a complex one. So in my opinion,
But that's the answer, right? The complexity that you can do. You can make complex decisions. I think that's the skill that would help me, because you have to look at very many things at the same time and make it work. There has to be this balance. You have to be kind of like a master of everything a little bit, no? Oh, and so that would be the skill, being general. Even though it doesn't, they teach us to be specific and knowing just one thing, but I think that being general is really helpful.
But I think that women, especially, we are good at that.
We are good at this,
Because
exactly.
men, sometimes they get lost on
But this is
analyzing everything.
Total, and this is why it's good to have the husband partner, because
Yeah,
they just kind of,
Totally agree.
and you're like, okay, right?
It balances the situation.
It puts you in the right place. Okay.
Yeah.
But alone, he would not be able to do what you can do, I believe.
sure.
More? We have a second there.
For I guess for me is one of the biggest strengths for me is probably versatility and agility.
That's it, yeah.
When we start the business, like I said, that you can just straight away get the profits in. So you have to think along the way as you go, start building and you start to getting clients and you start selling along the way. Obviously, there's a lot of things that you need to be done. And I think for me, I take pride in a way of in being able to learn programming, and we were learning HTML programming from the start, and we were selling websites to clients in a way. Never gone to computing school for programming. Learning to do graphic arts and selling communications consultings, but and doing designs and all that. Never been to designer school. I think this little bit of skills helps. And I think if that is complemented by being fearless, not afraid.
I'm afraid of them.
Never be afraid of making failures. Never be afraid that somebody tells you this is not good enough. But I think being fearless is that you can go out and you can get what you need and get what you want. But on a calculated basis doesn't mean that you can just go out and go crazy. But I think being not afraid to take that first step, being not afraid to confront a situation, it helps you open so many doors and helps you open yourself to so many opportunities that if you're afraid, you're just not going to see it.
I agree.
For you, Carlota?
On the line of what I'm still learning, and I have to learn a lot. I don't know if it applies to you, but it really applies to me that better is enemy of good. Like in Spanish is yeah. I don't know if it translates like that in English, but we want to do it so good that sometimes you just invest so much time, invest so much energy in something that it was good in the first place. So I think that's what I struggle the most, because I want to do like everything good in all areas, and I end up like spending a tons of time, tons of energy. My team gets crazy, and I don't know. I think that's one thing that entrepreneurs have to learn. Just let it be. It's good. Let it go. So
But I think that we need to strive for excellence, no? We want to be good, no?
where's the
The
balance?
balance, well, that's the
That's
art.
difficult part.
That's
Yeah.
the art.
But excellence maybe is a way.
That's the art.
But it's a target
Way
to go.
to do the things. No?
Mhm.
For me, the skills are three. First of all, communication. It does not mean to be a good speaker. Huh?
You are.
Communication. No, thank you. No, I'm not so much. But communication. How do you communicate with the others?
Mm.
This is a very important thing. The second one maybe would be empathy, as Mar said. And the third one is, I recommend you to make a test. The GRIT, G-R-I-T, the test of the GRIT theory. It values your passion and perseverancia,
Perseverance.
perseverance.
Yep.
So you make the test and you say, I have perseverance,
Total.
80% and 20% passion. So this is important because it determines your self-determination, because it's a long way. It's a long way to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
It's not just for 1 month, because this is you are a waitress, no? You go to Chiringuito and you work in a summer. That's okay. That's not to be entrepreneur. It's a long way. It's a way of life, she said, style and an attitude. To be entrepreneur, it's an attitude. And I think one of the goals of an entrepreneur, for me, in my opinion, of course, girls, is that the freedom. Mar said that too. This is my main goal. I have my schedule. I decide what I do. Well, when my clients or customers, they decide, no? But you understand what I mean. So this is important to find this too.
I would like to say someone taught me something amazing, Carlota. To not be overachieving, but to be a high performer.
Exactly.
And that person is sitting here.
You
I'll
wanted
note
to
it.
ask you something. Please, micro for the girl.
That's a great reflection. I'm going to note it down.
It's all right.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good.
Has to be one of the top ones.
Oh, they're coming. Okay.
I have to hold it.
Okay.
Right. I was thinking, what are they going to do?
My question is, to start a business and to be an entrepreneur, you have to have the idea. Of course, you need the purpose, you need the passion, you need the grit, all that comes afterwards. But you have to have an idea. How do you know that that idea is worth starting?
You don't
Because it
know.
touches you deeply.
Not
Yeah.
even a certain probability. You have to have something.
Well, I also I teach on a university entrepreneurship, and I always say to my students, first, you don't need an idea. You can copy an idea that is running in another country, for example. It's not
Franchising.
a scene, okay? So you can copy, and once you copy or you have an original idea, the first thing you need to do is to test the market, and try to test it with as less resources as you can. So we call that making an MVP, a minimum value product. And if you don't test the market, you never will know if it is going to work or not. So you have many tools today to test the market with a Facebook campaign or whatever, investing a few money. So I recommend always to test, because if not, there's no way to know if if there's market for that, or if it's the right moment for that.
Sometimes there is a market for something if it's already on the market. So you will, that there is a market already, but if it's a new, like you had,
Yeah.
right, that was nothing,
Sure.
I consider that amazing, totally, to start something like that. And in my case, it changed my life. So I was like, well, if this changed my life, then it has to be right.
I think ideas, there are many. Everybody here in this room, everybody has an idea. And I think an idea without knowing how to execute that idea, then it stays an idea. So I think apart from testing the market, as what Mar has said, I think it's also important to think how you're going to execute that idea, because like somebody can copy that idea, but if it doesn't execute that idea well, it's not going to work. But if you take that same idea and you operate it well, then it becomes a business. So I think execution, operations is part of the basic plan of starting the business.
Also, if there's a need, in our case, there wasn't a way of testing, but we knew there was a need of this type of service.
Yeah.
And then we knew it was right. Someone had to do it.
Yes.
So let's go.
Be the first.
Yeah, it's like
Yes.
we're the first ones to try it because of that. There's something that needed to be done. There was a niche there. There was no one taking care of this woman. So we said, we'll do it. And we didn't know if it would work or if it would give a revenue. It's a high risk because the salaries are starting now. Like this year, salaries are starting to go up, but they are 10% of what men win. So you have to balance what the resources you have, what's going to be your revenue, and what's the risk you're going to take. So that's what we took into account to then launch the agency.
Christina, it's your moment.
Another question. It's their moment. I'm just talking on their behalf, but I love this question. How do you support yourself? How do you motivate yourself when your spirits are down and you think like giving up? And when did that feeling in your case stop? Or does it ever stop?
Wow. Very profound.
The greed test. First of all, it's amazing.
Have a coach, I think, have a mentor, have someone that's with you, doing it with you, somebody that's, I mean, how can you find this resource inside? Yes, I mean, okay, sometimes you meditate. I would also definitely recommend to do exercise, to be fit, to actually be physically fit, I think helps run a business.
Yeah, also what I've learned is that every day the sun rises. So
yes, it never stops, right?
So every day, yeah. And then sometimes that I've been really pissed off or really thinking that it was over. Nothing happened. So and the sun rises again. So just think on that. And if you cannot be enough inspired, just get up at 6 in the morning and just look how the sun rises, because the sun rises every day.
I would go back to the purpose of why we started to do this business, why we get ourselves involved in this. I guess I would draw parallel a bit with like a marriage, when you find your husband and you get married, and then 20 years down the road, the passion dies and you go, you look at him,
No.
and then how do you fall back in love with that guy who's just scratching his tummy on the sofa?
You're right.
And then you go back to the purpose, the love story that you had. And you remember what a wonderful person you are with, and he's still here. And I guess it's the same thing with the business. When you get burnout, you go back to think, why are you in this?
You're
right. What was the purpose you have? You have to get back.
It's difficult when you go to your purpose, when you go to your bank account.
Well, I guess obviously this has to be taken into a perspective of what drives you.
And she goes with her husband too. So
and he's like, look at the bank account. So, what are you gonna do?
Apart from all these reasons, also the team. I think it's important to have a good team, people that surround you, that on those days, like these difficult days that you say everything went wrong, they support you and they give you this extra energy so you can continue. And then the next day and the same.
Let be supported.
It's like, apart from all these things, I think they are important. I think the team is one of the keys for me.
I have another question, and Carlota, who is co-founder of Womenthon and the boss online of the event, is telling me it's the last one because you need to go to the networking, right? So this last question is coming from Lucero Ordinola, and Lucera, I don't know, it's a he or she, but anyway, she asks, how do you think that education should change to empower women since very early ages to change the traditional mindset?
I don't know if this thing is changing too much yet.
This is difficult because of different countries, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm Slovak. I'm an entrepreneur because after the regime ended, first thing my parents did was they opened businesses. And so I grew up in a shop of my mom. And my dad is still in business until today. It is probably why I'm doing it, why I'm still believing, or why I'm not running my business because of my dad. That sounds horrible. But what I mean to say is that you see that lifestyle, and but when you go to the education part, it really depends how progressive the country is and if they understand, if it is on their table when they are deciding in the government that if more women will be involved in entrepreneurship, that we will actually all be richer. So if that comes across, then we can win.
And in the family,
Family.
mother is very important.
Family is very important.
Is the role model for the girls.
It's been quite difficult in the football area, this question.
No, that's true.
Because nowadays you think everything is normalized, and it's
not.
It's not. You go to Portugal, which is next door, and you still see people saying, "My daughter can't play." Like, why? Why not?
Why
She's
not?
a girl. So we still keep encountering these problems. And one thing we do with the agency is these social programs. So the girls, our players, go there to the school, so they speak, they show their experience, and they're normal women. They have studies. They are excelling in their sport. They're happy. They're healthy. So why not?
Why not?
This is one thing we're really working.
But in the United States, they're already better.
Yeah, that's the best country. That's the best one.
I know that my husband has been already playing football with the kids in high school, and there were girls on his team.
But do you know why? Because men play a harsher sport. It's not soccer, it's football. Because men are stronger, they play football, that the woman plays soccer.
This is what I will tell him.
That's why. But
this is why.
but it
doesn't mind.
But
we start with something.
Yeah, exactly.
I like to think that progression is on the way. I mean, the fact that we are talking about it is that we are aware of it. We know that it's important. I think education is starting to get there. I mean, today we have 37 CEO from the Fortune 500 companies that are women. It's only a mere 7%, but on the optimistic view, it's a start.
Yeah.
On the pessimistic view, woof, we still have a lot to go, but hey, there is that little glimpse of light at the end. And if we work on it also at home, which I think is important, we have to take our daughters off the Disney Channel, that they have to be the princess, they have to be there to wait for their Prince Charming. We have to make them feel empowered with the capability of they can do many more things on their own. I think is a base, and progression, women equality and women progression is a problem that all societies have to deal with. And I'm sure it's not something that today, with the few of us, we could say that we have absolute solutions to how to move that forward.
One important point that the experts, they say the equality will arrive in 200 years. The most optimists, they say 168 years. So my daughter and me, we say no. Because I'm not going to see that, but you will not going to see that.
That is when you need public policies and
that's why it's important to accelerate this as soon as possible. Maybe not in 10 years, okay, but we are living in a fast world.
It can happen.
Everything is fast. Why cannot be fast this?
Well,
why not? Because there are interests somewhere. And girls, we are the 51% of population. Thank you. I like it when you help me. I love it. Remember that we are the 51%, not the 10%. Don't be. I'm not going to say that. All of us, eh? Let's be brave. Yeah. Let's be strong. Let's do it. And we need guys to help us. We need men to do this step, and very important step. So now we're going to be in the second part. Thank you very much, Bibi. Thank you very much, Lynn. Thank you, Carlota. Thank you, Mar. They are amazing. Please, an applause for them.
Thanks to you guys too for being here.
An applause for all of you. An applause for the streaming people is connected to. Say hello. Hello. They are looking at you. Hello. Thank you.